Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and to a bit of a life update and Q&A video. I feel like I haven't just sat down to the camera and had a catch up with you for so long. Sometimes I have a tendency to overthink content and feel like I need to film an entire day of me cleaning or film something super motivational for you guys. And obviously I love to make that kind of content. But today, I thought I would just sit down, let you know what's been going on. And I also put out something on my YouTube community tab saying, does anyone have any questions for me? And I've got over 50 questions here. So I'm gonna try and get through as many as I can. So I hope you really enjoy this video. If you want to get yourself a snack and a drink and we will just have a catch up. I love content like this. Like I'm really into watching podcasts on YouTube at the moment. Sort of like that longer kind of content. So yeah, anyway, let's get into it. So the first update is about renovations. I had a few questions about this and you may actually hear the builders during this video. So let's start with that. We're currently redoing our family bathroom, which we weren't actually planning to do this soon, but we've been holding off on doing up our hallway and landing upstairs because when you have builders and tradesmen coming in and out with different things, walls can be knocked, stairs can be banged and things like that. So we thought we'll just leave that to the very end. So we were gonna do that project next, but then there's only one room left to be done upstairs, which is the family bathroom. So then we decided, should we do that first and then do the hallway and the landing last, just so nothing gets damaged? And we always knew we were gonna do it. So we've just kind of moved that forward. So all of that is happening. I'm super excited about it. Maybe I'll put some pictures on screen here because already they've taken the old bathroom out and there was a stud wall in the bathroom where the shower used to be and it didn't need to be there. So we ended up taking that wall out and it's really opened up the space. So we're so excited for that new family bathroom. The kids are just gonna love it for bath time and stuff. And can you believe we've actually been in this house for 3 years now, this month, and we've nearly redone everything. It's definitely been a long process, but we're very much at the end of it now, which is so exciting. So just the bathroom, the landing, and the hallway, and then we're having quite a bit of storage made. We're having a bit of a boot room area made, some cupboards in my office, and another airing cupboard upstairs. We actually got really let down by a tradesman. So all of that was supposed to happen. And yeah, we've just experienced a few tradesmen agreeing and then ghosting us, which is just great. But we found someone else. So hopefully that will happen very soon. So yeah, all updates will be on my home Instagram account. If you like that kind of thing, paint colors, tile choices, the real nitty gritty of building and stuff, all of that is on that page. But yeah, we're so happy with everything and how it's all gone. And it's crazy already looking back to a year ago when we had no kitchen and we were all living in one room and it was just this big massive pile of dust. Sometimes I think I just can't believe we kind of lived here at that time, but somehow it all worked out. Oh, and we are also changing Jackson's bedroom a bit because during the renovations, we got a triple bunk bed for him. So we knew that the boys could all sleep together in one room while we were doing up all the other bedrooms. But actually, he doesn't love the bunk bed. I don't know what it is about it, but he really didn't ever want to sleep in there. So we've now sold that and we're going to get a double bed for that room. And we're kind of hoping that helps him want to sleep in there. It probably won't, but you never know. And then we're going to make a few other changes because we moved in when he was 2. Yeah, was it 2? It was 2 years old? 4 years old, but it was quite a young baby room. So we're just making a few changes in there as well. And while we're oh my gosh. And while we're talking about the house, there was a question about it. Someone said, you have a beautiful home. May I ask, how did you get your dream home? Where you both started out and how have you worked hard to get where you are now? I hope that's not too intrusive. So some of you will know that I am originally from Canada. It's actually Canadian Thanksgiving, the day that this video goes up. So we've been celebrating that this weekend and it's been really, really nice. It's a tradition I try to keep up because I am Canadian originally, but I don't sound it anymore. And my family is very British. But I was born there and my mom was a teenager when she became a mother. She actually got pregnant with my sister when she was 17 and then me at 20. So yeah, it was a very different childhood to what my kids have. Like, it was quite hard at times, and we moved around a lot. We lived with my grandparents for a bit, and yeah, I could have never imagined having a house like this one day. And then when I was 14, we moved to England, and obviously like went to school here, university, all of that. So then when my mum moved back to Canada when I was about 22 years old, I decided to stay because I'd already met Matt and I just felt like this was home by then. So my mum moving away forced me to get my first place. So we got a little 1-bedroom apartment and I loved it so much. And we ended up redoing like the kitchen and all of the rooms. And that was kind of the beginning of like, you know, doing stuff up. Back then though, this was like 18 years ago, you could get an apartment, I think, for like £100,000, which you can't really do nowadays. But I'm so lucky that we managed to like get on the ladder then. Did it up, and then a few years later when I got pregnant with Fraser, we then sold it and bought our first home, and then we did that up, which if you followed me for ages, you'll know the house I mean. We lived there for 10 years, loved it, felt like that would have been our forever home. We did it all exactly as we wanted, and then we decided to move again because we kind of moved into that house with a newborn. Fraser was 3 weeks old when we got the keys and we moved in. And then the next thing you know, we had 3 boys, all growing, needing more space. And we actually felt like we were kind of outgrowing it a little bit. Like, we could have happily been there forever. But then we saw this house, and yeah, so then we got this, and we've obviously been doing it for 3 years. I have said to Matt, once this house is all done, I really don't want to move again, but I have a feeling like he's got the itch, like he loves doing it. And actually that's how we've been able to move and to really increase the value of houses by completely doing them up. Like, I don't know if that's still the best strategy, because we've definitely noticed that renovating and construction work, it is so much more expensive now. But yeah, I'm hoping we'll stay here for a long time. I'd really like this to be like, you know, the kids' family home. I've just noticed that Kiki is asleep on this chair just here. I'm so obsessed with this dog. You guys may know from the content that I put out, but I just love hanging out with her. I actually had a painting made of her recently, so I'll show you that on screen. I love it so much, and it's on the wall in this room. And yeah, she's like one of the best things I've ever done for my mental health. When Jackson went off to school, I just felt really sad. Actually, the boys growing up in general, like, I grieve that they are getting so much older, and almost like I loved the baby and the toddler years so much. I just felt so sad that it was over. But having her is like having another little baby. She follows me around. She makes me get out the house every day and walk her, and like she's always kind of there. She snuggles up to me on the couch, and yeah, just love having a dog. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, someone asked about travel plans this year, and we do have a few things that we've planned. I love having things to look forward to. So in the half term coming up, we're not going away, but we're having like a night in London and a little staycation as well. But I'm not going to say what it is because we're going to surprise the kids with it. But yeah, you'll probably see on Instagram where we go. And then we also have a little something planned for Christmas. Again, we were going to surprise them, so I won't say. But then in February, we're actually going on our first ever family ski trip, which I'm so excited about. I've always wanted to take the kids skiing because I skied as a kid, but I always like kind of wanted to time it right for all of their ages. And now that Jackson is 7 years old, can you believe? And Caleb will be 10 and Fraser will be 13. We feel like it's the perfect time. And actually one of my best friends lives in Geneva. They've moved there for work. So we're gonna go and just stay with them for like a long weekend and like try out skiing. So it'll be like the perfect way to see if the kids love it. And then if they do, maybe in the future, we could actually like book a ski holiday. But yeah, super excited for that. But those are all the kind of travel plans that we have at the moment. Oh, and also this half term, it's Caleb's birthday. So he's having like a golf birthday party. And yeah, he's gonna be double digits, which is insane. It says, what are the new challenges or joys of parenting now that the boys are older? So the joys are definitely that they're a bit more on our level now that they're older. Like they get sarcasm, they're so witty, love to spend time with them. I feel like you can just chat to them in the car about anything. We can watch films that we all want to watch. Like we've got quite into showing the kids movies we loved when we were younger. Like the other day I watched Karate Kid with Caleb. He absolutely loved it. We watched The Goonies. We've been watching lots of Tom Hanks films together, and that's just really nice. Like I feel like they are our little best friends. Like I know that I'm their parent, but I just love hanging out with them. So that is really nice. And I feel like the challenges are still to come. Obviously, we're just about to enter into the teenage years. I'm reading a few books on teenagers, which you guys recommended to me. So thank you for that. And for me, I just really want to try and make the boys as independent as possible. And I actually find that quite hard. I am super maternal. I love doing stuff for the kids, but I have to stop myself. And like, you know, they have to make, they have to make their own breakfast, have to get, they have to start doing stuff for themselves, because that's being kind to like them in the future. And I always worry about like self-confidence and things like that. So really it will just be like very different challenges, I guess, like friend group challenges and stuff like that, but we're not quite there yet. I feel like that's to come. And kind of linked to that question, someone has asked, how is Fraser finding senior school? I can't believe he's in year 8 already. Time really does fly. Yes, it does. I actually cannot believe like he's this high on me. He's getting so grown up. But yeah, he's getting on really well at senior school. Like academically, he's doing so well. In a weird way, he puts pressure on himself when it comes to learning. Like I feel like me and Matt, like obviously we want them to do their homework and to study and stuff, but I don't feel like good grades are the be all and end all. Like I did okay at school, but I wasn't like top of the class or anything. But he is doing really, really well. So yeah, he actually won an award. He'll kill me for telling you guys this, but he won an award last year in year 7. It was like an attainment award, and only 2 kids got it, and he was one of them. So we were like super proud of him, and almost a bit like, where has he got that from? But yeah, so he's doing really well in all of that respect. But it is really weird when your kids start senior school, because you just lose like, when they're at primary school and like you've got WhatsApp groups with the mums, you chat to them all the time, you feel like their friends' parents and things like that. When they're at senior school, like he makes plans on his own with his friends. There's no WhatsApp groups, there's no like seeing other parents on the school run and all of that. It's all stopped. So it's weird. I feel like I just know less about what he's getting up to and everything. But at the same time, he's such a great kid. Like, I know obviously he's mine and I think he's great, but I just really trust him to make good choices. And someone also asked for an update on all 3 of the kids. So that's kind of Fraser. He's doing really well. Still also obsessed with football. Caleb is also doing really well. He's in year 5 now. So also getting super grown up. He's doing really well at school, and he's also super creative. So you guys may have noticed in the vlogs, like he's always drawing, coloring, painting, creative writing. Like he's definitely got this like creative streak right through him. I feel like I'm quite creative. Matt is also very creative. Matt actually did a like graphic design degree, like, so he's got that about him as well. So yeah, love to see him draw and doodle and do stuff like that he loves. He's started for the first time ever on a team sport. So he's actually part of a football team now, which is great, because before that he never really wanted to do team sports. He likes like tennis, golf, gymnastics, trampolining, all very much on his own. And I always felt like I don't think he's the most competitive person in a way. Like I think he likes to do his own thing, but when it came to a team, like it was a bit overwhelming. But he's now part of a football team and he's actually really enjoying that. So that's also really nice to see. And I think he's just going to learn so much from being part of a team. So yeah, he's doing really, really well. And Jackson is now 7, so he's in year 2. He's doing really well at school. Like he loves reading. He's really good at all of that stuff. He started Lego Club. He's just obsessed with Lego, so he really enjoys going to that. He's also super creative and he loves anything to do with art. And yeah, he's just really funny. He makes all of us laugh. He's definitely like the jokester. I don't know if it's like a third child thing, let me know, but he's just like really funny, sometimes inappropriate, but not tricky. Like he's not hard work. Like in the morning, if I'm like, get dressed, he does. Putting him to bed is really easy. Like I do feel lucky that they're all good boys. Obviously they have their moments, as all kids do, and 3 boys can be chaotic sometimes. Like often 2 out of the 3 will be fighting, but I feel like as time's gone on, I've got like less sensitive to it. I feel like sounds really bad. Sometimes if the boys are fighting on the trampoline, I'm like, it's just best I don't look. Like I just let them get on with it because I feel like they're going to have to learn how to sort things out between them as well. So yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Allowing the boys to play fight is something I would totally recommend if you're also a mum of boys. And it sounds weird, but I read a book years ago which was called Raising Boys, and in it it said that play fighting is a really good opportunity for them to bond. And if you actually look at it, it just looks like a big cuddle, like them rolling around on the floor together. So I kind of just let them get on with it. I don't really get that involved since reading that. And someone also asked how to make your kids like get on, how to make them good friends. And I actually made a video years ago. I'll link it here if I can work out how to do that. But I made a video called How to Make Siblings Best Friends, and just like things that I do with the kids. I think a few things have really helped. Like when they were really young, at one point I had 3 kids under the age of 5, and Matt was working like all the time. So I actually needed the boys to do stuff for each other. But looking back, I think that's actually really bonded them together. Like I used to, you know, if I was doing something with Caleb, I'd say to Fraser, oh, can you feed Jackson this yogurt? And he would like really love like feeding him. Or I would say, oh, you know, can you fetch the socks or the blanket? And like they've been almost like looking after each other since day one, and I feel like they're really good at doing that. Something else I used to do was if they were ever fighting over a toy, I'd just take the toy away, because I felt like very quickly then they just had to learn that they had to share, or it just gets taken away. And there's a few other things in that video, so I'll link it if you want to go and check it out. But there was like a few points in there. But obviously my kids are not perfect. Like they have their moments, and at the moment Caleb and Jackson are probably the ones that are fighting the most with each other, but I know that could probably change again very soon. And someone also asked me for book recommendations, so I'm going to share with you a few of my favorite books. As some of you guys will know, I pretty much only listen to books. I don't know why, but I find I get really bad mum guilt if I sit down and read. But if I'm listening to a book while I'm going about my day, cooking, cleaning, stuff like that, or even walking the dog, I love to listen to books and take it in that way. I know that's not for everyone, but I just find that's the best for me. So I've gone on to my like Audible thing, and maybe I'll just tell you some of my favorite books. One, which I've actually read a few times because sometimes I feel like I need to be reminded, is Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and It's All Small Stuff. That's a really good book. I also love What I Know for Sure by Oprah Winfrey. I also love Atomic Habits. That's a really, really interesting book. Would recommend it. I loved the book Manifest. I loved the book Good Vibes, Good Life. There's quite a few, like there's so many different ones. That there's like how to parent a strong-willed child, easy peasy puppy squeezy, Will Smith, like autobiography. Like there's so many different ones that I have on here. I loved Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Whole Brain Child. I really like. Also, yeah, those are a few to kind of keep you going. But if I had to choose like a couple that I think you should really download, like I loved Atomic Habits. And I love Don't Sweat the Small Stuff as well. I also got a few questions about my health and for an update on that. So a few years ago, I had some health issues and then I was diagnosed with endometriosis and adenomyosis, and I had a surgery to help and the coil. And since then, I feel a million times better. My mood is better, my skin is better. Like I really feel like it's helped so much. But since then, I've been on a bit of a journey with my health. I've recently had some health tests done, which were super interesting. I had like a whole woman check in London, and the results came back and they were quite interesting. And then I've recently done the Zoe tests. This isn't an ad, I just really wanted to do it, and I will make a whole video about it because it was super interesting. You wear like a glucose monitor for 2 weeks, and you know, you track the food that you eat, and then you send off a blood sample and things like that. And the test results came back. I will make a whole video, sorry, but just quickly I'll tell you that my blood sugar was really, really good, but my blood fat control was really, really bad. And it has recommended foods that I should and shouldn't eat. And it's basically saying that I should be a vegetarian, that I can eat fish and chicken moderately, but I should never eat red meat. I should never eat bacon, never eat sausages. Like all of that is really bad for me. So it's so interesting to know that. And since getting the results, I've been making like vegetable curries, vegetable chilies, and really following the guidelines. So I thought, I'll follow this for like a good month, and then I will update you guys on it, because I would like to lose a little bit of weight. Not that weight matters or anything, but yeah, just generally health has become a huge priority for me. I've been working out 3 times a week. I've been walking the dog as much as possible. I think as you get older, it becomes more top of mind. Years and years ago, like even if you look back at my earlier videos, it's funny, when I look back, I permanently had a sore throat. Like my voice is really like scratchy in a lot of the videos. And I just know that I was like up all night with the kids. I wasn't doing that much for my health. And you know, I can almost look back at those videos and see me struggling in a way, which is weird. So yeah, I'm excited. Like I feel like I don't really have a lot of time to try and fit these things in, but I just feel like, you know, now that I'm getting older, it is just so important that I make the time. Someone asked, how did you decide on what school your boys will go to? We're currently deciding and it is so difficult. So I found it quite difficult as well. Where we live, there are so many good schools. So every single one we looked at, I was like, pretty nice. So in the end, I really feel like you have to go with that gut feeling. So when we were choosing a primary school for Fraser, obviously he was only 4 and he just seemed so tiny to be starting school, and he obviously had an allergy. So I feel like I really chose the school that I thought would deal with that the best, and subsequently his brothers went there as well. But I do see how some parents can choose different senior schools for different kids because they are so different in personality. One might suit one, might not suit the other. So who knows about senior school? I think next year we're going to look at all of them again for Caleb. And as I've mentioned, his allergy, I did also get a few questions about an update on his immunotherapy or desensitization. So we've been doing something at the hospital since he was 9 years old, which is called peanut desensitization. And it's like a very slow vaccination where they start out by eating the tiniest bit of peanut. It's actually a 300th of a peanut to begin with. And then they build it up over time every week. And it's been about 3 or 4 years now, and now he can eat 2 whole peanuts in one go and not react. So it's pretty amazing that he's now at that stage. We had a catch up with them recently and did some blood tests, so we'll find out very soon if his allergy is going down, and the hope is that it will go down to the point where he can actually do this with food. So at the moment he does it with protein, like a peanut protein powder. But in the future, it would be great if, you know, when he's off and he's an adult, if he can just keep up the immunity by eating like 2 peanuts, say. So yeah, so that's where we are, but it's a very long process. Like, we probably still have a good few years of doing this. So, but yeah, it definitely helps. Like, any food that says may contain peanuts, I'm like, that's absolutely fine. It's definitely made us a little bit more relaxed. Someone else asked the question, how do you start becoming yourself more with kids? My oldest is 5 next month, my youngest is 2 next week. I'm interested to know on how to join motherhood and yourself. I think it is so important to, well, it was so important to me to have like a purpose. When I had my second child, I remember being at home on maternity leave and just feeling like, I don't know, almost like I wasn't working. And obviously I loved being a stay-at-home mom, but I felt like I wanted something just for me. And that's why I started this channel. It was kind of like a little hobby that I did on the side. I'd make these little videos. My husband, Matt, didn't get it at all. My friends and family thought I was weird, if I'm being completely honest with you. They just didn't understand. But I feel like it was my way of like having a creative outlet and putting myself out there and then making friends with like online mums. And I actually felt really lonely at the beginning of motherhood, and I actually think that's why I started this channel. I was like reaching out for like-minded mums, and I've made so many friends throughout this, and it helped so much, and it's given me that purpose. Obviously, I never thought this hobby was going to become, you know, a job or anything like that. But I think if you can find something that is just for you, then that's what really helped me. So whatever it is, I don't know what you're into, like crafting or Pilates or whatever it is, if you can try and do something just for you. And even though when the kids were young, we didn't really have that much support at all. Obviously, my family are in Canada. Matt's mum is really great, but you know, she still worked and stuff like that. So I would very much like work on the videos at nap time. And it was just like, I don't know, I just felt like this is like mine. The next one says, you handle negative comments made on your channel perfectly, and I'm wondering, how do you cope so well with it? So thank you. I think I am quite good at focusing on the positives in life in general, whereas it's actually like, humans want to focus on the negative. It's built into us. So when we were cavemen, it was really important that we noticed the lion that was coming to attack us over like the beautiful sunset, if that makes sense. So I feel like we all want to focus on the negative. Like, when I don't watch the news because I don't want to know, and that might make me sound really ignorant, but I just can't let it like seep in. So, and also on my channel, like 99% of people are really, really kind. Obviously you get the odd mean comment, but I've blocked every swear word, every mean word. So I don't really see it as much, because for me, like, out of sight, definitely out of mind. So yeah, I do get it though. Like, sometimes you get constructive criticism and I really welcome that. Sometimes I read a comment, I'm like, you have a point. Like, maybe I shouldn't have said that or done that. But then sometimes you just get like really mean comments, and even those ones, sometimes I read them and I think like, I get it. Sometimes I might watch something on social media and it might trigger me, like if I'm not in the right frame of mind or if I'm feeling a certain way. Like, I think I can struggle sometimes when I see things, and I'm happy to like unfollow people on Instagram if their content does that to me. So I just hope people will just unfollow if they don't like it, but they don't always. But yeah, thank you. I mean, all in all, you know, I feel like I've got the best followers in the world. Like, everyone that's ever come up to me in real life and said like, I watch your videos, have always just been really kind, really, really lovely and nice people. The next question is, do you have help with the admin side of work life? And I don't currently, but I feel like I might need some, because I am really struggling. Obviously, I used to do 3 videos a week on YouTube. Now I do 2, because I just felt like it was so difficult with Instagram Reels and TikTok. Like, all of those social media platforms are like like more time consuming now because it's like video content as well, whereas I used to put up my YouTube videos and just a few photos on Instagram. So social media has really changed. So I probably should get a little bit of help, but I am quite precious when it comes to my channel. So not at the moment, we will see in the future. Someone else said, do you ever have plans to move back to Canada? Do you ever miss it? So I really feel like this is home, and I've always really wanted my kids to have roots because I feel like I didn't really have roots in one specific place. So that's super important to me. So I feel like for that reason, we will stay here. I do obviously miss my family, my friends, but I do not miss the winters. I think I might make this the last question because this is probably a really long video now, but someone said, how different do you feel when you hit 100,000 subscribers versus 800,000 subscribers? And this is interesting because for me, hitting 100,000 subscribers was the ultimate goal for me, because I thought in my head at the time, I was on maternity leave with Jackson, so I'd given birth to Jackson, and I think when he was born I had around 20,000 subscribers, and I had a few like interests from a few brands, and I think it suddenly dawned on me when I was on maternity with him that maybe I could not go back to work, maybe I could do this full time. And I was like, it just put a rocket under me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to make that work. And then I thought, well, if I could get to 100,000 subscribers in the next year while I'm off with him, then maybe I wouldn't have to return to work, which is something I really struggled to always leave the boys. And I went back after Fraser when he was 10 months old for 4 days, and then with Caleb as well. And I just hated being away from them. And so yeah, it was just this huge dream of mine. I think I even put it out on my channel. I was like, guys, if we can hit 100,000, I could maybe do more content, and I could be at home more, and I could be with the kids. And it was so nice because it was like all my followers like got behind me. And then when I actually hit that milestone, you know, it's like this huge celebration, and I sent in my notice to work, and it was like the best feeling ever. And then I got my little 100,000 plaque, and it was just such a huge, amazing thing for me. And then from then, I've just never really thought about the numbers. I know I probably should have the 1 million subscriber plaque as a goal, but I'm actually not too bothered about it. I feel like it's so far away, and I just feel super lucky that I get to do this, and I've been able to do it for so long. I always thought, well, if it just lasts while the kids are young, that would be amazing. And now Jackson, like my youngest, he's 7, so it's already been like more than I could have ever wanted. So yeah, it's weird. I feel like the 100,000 was just huge for me, whereas obviously 800,000 was an amazing milestone, but it just felt so different. Maybe one day we'll get to 1 million. The kids keep saying it, and I'm like, oh, you know, YouTube's really slow at the moment, but you never know, maybe. But yeah, anyway, I think that is everything I was going to update on in this video. Ask me any other questions you have in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching and sticking with me for so long, and for all of the questions. Like, I really do appreciate it. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.